distraction, so I'm not going to do that. And Dave, make sure you follow proper HECP protocol and lock out, tag out, and verify zero energy.
Oh man, I used to have to teach that. They made me the high-risk safety officer at work, and it wasn't bad with the NBC employees, but with the subcontractor, that we had this one subcontractor, and they were hiring yahoos all the time. I would take like 2 or 3 yahoos at a time and call them aside, separate them from everybody else, and tell them what happens when you get electrocuted.
It ain't pretty.
No, I came at the other angle. It was, you think that you can get a shock and you'll be fine, but you know what happens to some people is they don't have a buddy like is required with with General Electric protocol. You could be perfectly fine, but your respiration stops. If there's somebody with you, they can call 911 and do chest compressions and you'll live. But you could get a little shock and you could be dead just because you weren't following the rules to have somebody else there with you. Oh man, you should see the wide eyes.
You know, well, being on board ship, I got electrical safety training drilled into my head. Because if you think about it, for un momento, the entire ship is the ground.
I think like that anyway. The entire world is grounded. And when you touch something, you're going to leak the ground somewhere. As long as it finds its way just through your arm or your elbow or something, that's great. But when it goes across your heart, it's a mixed bag because it depends. If you get enough energy, all the muscles and crap contract, and it kind of goes around your heart. Which is why when they were purposely electrocuting people in the chair, they were using 2,000 volts DC for a while. They found out that was too much.
And it doesn't take, it's not even the voltage that kills you, it's the current. It doesn't take a lot of current to kill you.
Yeah, just imagine, your job is to design a machine to kill someone. All right, well, it's 2,000 volts DC ought to do it. And then you find out that you're killing them by cooking them.
Now, I think out of all the ways to go, there's other ones besides electrocution I'd prefer, like lethal injection or probably even firing squad would be preferable to the electric chair.
Yeah, or some threesome or something,
Anything. Yeah, I don't know about hanging. Hanging's pretty brutal, too, because unless that's done right, it don't work so well either. And then you just wind up hanging in the air, pooping your pants.
You're going to poop your pants no matter what.
Well, that's also true.
Gee, Pete, I love the discussions that we have on the air. W2VW.
Hey, Triari. Oh, yeah. Well, I do too, because you never know. You never know what road you're going to go down. And that's what keeps it interesting.
Yeah, this will be on the YouTube. That's great. That was Pete.
Yeah, it's like the first thing, too. Like, I just fired up the stream, and that was, like, there you go, bam.
Well, speaking of bam. Yes, you did. I wonder what mountain rain. I wish I had access to the Splat software that I used to at work. It'll plot based on antenna height, gain, frequency, blah blah blah, expected signal level. But I don't have that anymore. Doggone it.
Well, we could just get on FT8 for a little while.
You know what, Billy? I think I could get on FT8 with 1/10 of a watt, no problem, and work both of you guys under the right conditions. Although I didn't hear you here, I didn't decode you here, but the band was busy with DX, and you may have been, on the same frequency as a bunch of DX.
You guys got the trampoline signal thing going on right now. That's pretty cool. You'll see on the YouTube live stream.
YouTube live stream. You can't say Watergate. That's a CB term. All right. How many CB terms can you roll off the tongue real quick?
Well, I'm going to read the mail, wave my hand, while I'm going to get back quiet while I'm reading the mail and waving my hand. Between 1 and 5, 1 and 5, up and down, up and down. You're doing the same thing, Dave, but not as drastic as that. Only a couple F units up and down. He's waving his hand all over.
Good long quota, duck plucker.
1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. That was a lot. Yeah. W2BTK.
Buddy, good buddy, good buddy, good buddy, good buddy.
And I just got down. You know who's really good at all that CB lingo jargon?
Who, Pete?
Steve. What the heck is Steve's called? KB3 UKB? He's really good at it. I was like, you speak from a man who has some experience.
Yeah, delivery that's unequal as far as I'm concerned. Very interesting person to hang out with.
He could fit him. He's like a chameleon. He could fit himself into whatever's going on. He fits himself right in there.
The kind of jargon I was using when I was on the CB, shouldn't be repeated.
I've been
on CB since 1974, and I've always basically talked like I'm talking now. There was some of that slang term thrown in there, this and that. The early years. But anymore, the only time you hear me speak like that is I'm lampooning it.
The thing about CB always got me back in the 70s when the CB radio was really expensive is how you could buy instant recognition and status by having an SSB radio because it cost $300 and something 1970 dollars. I guess I don't get on AM anymore because I have SSB.
They thought their S didn't stink because they used the Q codes and they you don't use S codes, you use Q codes, and they all had not handles, and they're all like professional on single sideband. They used to crack up over it. But I remember when back then the antennas were cheap and radios were expensive. Now the CB band, the antennas are expensive and the radios are cheap.
Yeah, you get a good deal. That's true. Well, I remember the United Sideband of America, USA organization. You could register your number with them.
Corn cob number 33.
Corn cob, huh?
Oh yeah. A bunch of us, we hang out on 47 sideband. Corn cob. And then my good buddy was Corn Cobber, good buddy, but not that kind of good buddy. He was a good friend of mine. Cobb number 1. He was a Vietnam vet, really cool guy. And if you hung out there long enough and he affected you, you got a corn cob number. I was corn cob number 3. And you can understand the reference to the corn cob.
That's another thing. I want it back. Rainbows, the word gay. Yeah, good buddy, damn it. I want that back. I want good buddy to mean good buddy, damn it.
You probably heard Sandbagger say it, and I may even have said it. You might have heard it. Good buddy, 1-6.
Yeah, but I think most places you go, like, it actually does literally mean, like, good buddy, like good friend of mine or something. It's just around what you're used to listening to, some of the mobile stations that were around a few years ago in the New York, New Jersey area kind of tainted the meaning of the word good buddy, but I think it's isolated just to that.
No, the LGBTQ plus AAYO plus community, they co-opted the good buddy. Back in the late 90s, wasn't even the late 90s, mid-90s, they co-opted it. There's over there in Valley Forge Park, there's an area called the Betswood Bridge. And they used to get on, and they troll the channels. And they'd go through every channel. Good buddy, 1-6. Good buddy, 1-6. And they troll the channels. And then, all right, so initially when I first started, like, all right, what's this all about? I said, yeah, I'm a good buddy. I'll meet you on 1-6. And then, the light bulb's starting to go off, but I need information, right? So I meet him up on 1-6. He wanted me to meet him over there at Betswood Bridge Park over at Valley Forge. And, I immediately knew now for sure what that was all about. Because Betswood Park was known for the LGBTQ plus IAA plus community.
Oh, so it's like a real thing. It's based on a real thing. Well, that's actually good because, anyway, I don't know, man. There's all kinds of stuff that should be taken back. Like, yeah, literally the word gay, lighthearted and carefree, people used to say that a long time ago to mean literally lighthearted and carefree, and then now we use it to describe sexual preferences.
It's the Flintstones, damn it. It's Americana. It needs to be taken back. W2DW. I'll be back in a second.
Buddy, gay, all that needs to be taken back. Stop co-opting these happy, lighthearted words and phrases for your nefarious uses.
I don't know. Can't get too upset. I mean, I'm not going to let myself get too upset about that because I'm already upset about too many things, W2BTK.
I don't get upset about it. And in all honesty, I really don't care. I really do not care about your lifestyle and what you do in your own home. I don't care. I don't. I really don't. Live and let live. Liberty for all. But when you start shoving it in my face, trying to foist it upon my children, and having drag queen story hour, and now I'm starting to have a problem. Like these gay pride parades, and the gay flag on crosswalks and the White House and all that nonsense. Now you're starting to annoy me because now it's in my face. So you do you, but don't try and foist your you upon me. And it used to be the gay community was probably picked on and bullied and blah blah blah. Well, now they've totally flipped it, and they're bullying us. The gay community is bullying the straight white male. Now you stepped over the line.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, I think most normal people, don't care, what you go home and like to get your freak on with, man, woman, this, that, I don't know, maybe it's an inflatable doll, most normal people, don't care about that, so normal straight people, I think, even normal gay people get, kind of ticked off about all that, it just, you don't care, it's funny. I don't know. It's all a distraction, in my opinion. Big distraction. Everybody's all riled up. That means it's working.
It is a big distraction. I try not to pay any attention to it. So when you're throwing it in my face, I'm starting to get a little bit annoyed. Like, you do you, and you let me do me, and then everything will be fine. When you start holding these parades of your deviant behavior, I'm like, yeah, I start to have a problem. Like, I am an ordained minister, and I do believe in what's said in the Bible. And if you read in Romans 2, forget the verse, but Romans 2, that is heinous sin. Man to sleep with men, or women to sleep with women. A heinous sin. I can turn the other cheek, though, too, and you're the one who has to answer to God, not me. So it's not for me to judge, and I really don't care until you flaunt it in my face, and I go funny.
Exactly. I don't want to bring religion and all that into it, but just normal behavior is normal behavior, and when you step outside of normal behavior, then, it, I don't know. What are you doing? Is there a good reason for it? If no, then what the hell?
Well, I don't particularly subscribe to the term normal behavior because that's pretty well subjective. But I can tell you what abhorrent behavior is. And I don't subscribe to abhorrent behavior. But average people thinking, I know what you're trying to say. I know exactly what you're saying, but just calling it out that, in other people's views, my behavior may not be normal and yours may not be normal. So, normal is subjective to the observer. But abhorrent behavior and deviant behavior is a lot less subjective. Of course, it can be, but it's less so. Everybody can pretty much relate to what's abhorrent behavior.
I'm back. Speaking of normal, it's nothing to do with me. W2BW.
I guess
Somebody's got to, be on either extreme. AACRE.
on W2BTK. I guess I'm just trying to say, some people go out of their way to, have problems, and just go up on these hills and friggin' die there, and it's not usually for a good reason.
The way I like to say it is, your right ends where my right ends. And as long as your rights don't cross the line into my rights,
Yep. And, just try to get along. Some people don't. It's all good. I guess. What are we talking about?
people are just plain mentally challenged.
There's a lot of that.
So what time are you voting, Pete?
Early and often.
Yeah, gotta figure out when I'm gonna go over there. I could just about walk. And I would do it too, but there'll be a bunch of people that aren't normally on that road. And some of them are crazy women drivers, so I'll take my vehicle.
I'll probably go over right when the wife leaves to work. Probably around 7:30, 8 o'clock I'll probably go over because there won't be no line. Probably won't be no line anyway because it's an off-year election. But I'm wondering if you caught the comment that I made. I don't know if you were still stepping in or stepping out of the room. But I don't think you caught it because you would have commented, I'm thinking.
I listen to you guys. I turn the volume up, but I'm not in the mood for that.
No, not a comment, but my credential.
Oh, yeah, I did think about that. I was going to tell Billy about your credential, but I didn't.
If you want to hear the story of how I became an ordained minister, I'd be glad to tell you because it is a pretty good story.
I think I'm a minister somewhere. It's like some website. You just put your name on there and then bam, like you're done.
It wouldn't be the Universal Life Church of Modesto, California.
Yeah, I think that's probably it.
Oh, well, then there's one minister to the other. Yep, that's how I did it. But there was a reason for it, and the reason is fantastic.
Well, yeah, I forgot I did that.
My wife also did it. My wife is also registered as an ordained minister.
Oh, you could blow money on stuff and be a nonprofit.
Well, we kept tossing that idea around and turning our house into a church, so we wouldn't have to pay taxes no more.
The Church of the Poplar.
I should.
Radio frequency.
Can your cat be a minister?
If your cat identifies as a person.
Oh, yeah, she definitely does.
Well, and I think your cat's probably in. It's registered Boo-Boo. Pittsburgh, New Jersey.
All animals, pets at least, think they're going to grow up to be a person someday. It's the saddest day in their life when they realize that they're going to be a dog. Cats I don't know about, but dogs, they're always going to be a dog. It's a sad day.
I think dogs prefer to be dogs.
Cats have that, like, psychic thing going on, you know, like they perceive a lot more, I think, than people, like just the vibes and this and that. I think they could see it a little more.
I think a cat probably perceives humans as a step down in their existence. They would prefer to be cats.
W2 very weak.
Yeah, I think I would go along with that, Pete. W2BTK.
A3RE at 20.
I mean, you don't even lick your paws, so yeah, obviously you're not on the same level.
I pick my nose sometimes.
I pick my feet.
The W2 VW School of Electronics dynamic range, ever explained that to you guys?
Oh, but you just took an airplane path. Man, F7 went flying up.
Well, dynamic range, if you picture the dog's sense of smell, you know, you can smell, like a dog, if you try to hide from a dog can smell that you walked by, you know, 3 minutes ago when you were hiding. Their nose is that sensitive, and, you know, some dogs who are trained and better breeds for that, they can find a scent of somebody in the woods that's that good. But yet a dog will take its nose and stick it right in the backside of another dog just for fun. Now that is dynamic range.
Yeah.
That is dynamic range. When you can, the faintest scent of somebody tracing through the woods 3 hours ago, and they can pick up that scent. But then they'll go to the other extreme and get the scent right from the source.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, I can't sniff anything right now. I was just, you know what I did?
That's pretty funny. That's a good explanation of dynamic range.
I wrote that.
Well, that's, yeah, I guess you could never digitize that.
Yeah, you could. You need to write a page on Wikipedia.
I've seen too many lives on Wikipedia to be involved with them.
Yeah, I have too. They're like every day, like just like regular reporting. You know, and you read something about a story, whether it's online or newsprint or whatever, but you know firsthand knowledge about that story or the item or whatever. And it's like, that's so wrong. That's not even correct.
I was watching Trump's interview with, what's her name, on C2BS, Nurse Ratchet, today. I was listening to that for a while and watching it, and man, he has the ability to make these people, they're worn out. They've been trying to throw so much crap at that man, and it's not sticking.
They've been trying pretty much for 10 years now.
Yep.
It's really starting to get a little old and tired, and everybody sees through the nonsense. Well, those of us who have critical thinking and not just one inflicted with TDS.
Well, the CBS network now has a new person in charge, and they fired a bunch of people, and you may actually enjoy watching something on CBS again in your lifetime, Pete.
I haven't watched network television in at least 10 or 15 years.
Wait, for real?
I am for real.
No, I mean like CBS mowed out all the... they restructured.
Well, after they lost the big lawsuit to Trump that he used the millions that he got for his library, I think. Yes, they've removed the... I don't know what the person's title was, but I think they were in charge of the quote-unquote news. Of course, it's not news.
So tell me it's your opinion. You know, you got to differentiate from, don't call it news if you're giving me your opinion, because it's not news. It's an opinion piece.
Well, anyway, it's winning, you know. You got Charlie Sheen. I got AIDS, and I don't know where I am, but I'm winning. So they're winning. Okay, that's great. Democrat Party is AFU right now, and that scares me more than anything Trump could do, because they're so far out there, and they don't really have a person they can point to as a leader, that they're rudderless, and there's no competition. So you can hire anybody as your next president who's not a Democrat. They can run on some third party. They're so screwed up. And competition makes things better. There is none, and that's very scary.
Yeah, but they're also champion Mondani. And Mondani, he ain't going to do nothing but chase more people to the to the Republican Party. That guy, I mean, I don't want to see him get elected, but he's going to be elected. And there you go. That's tough. Yeah, I don't see that turning out well in New York. And I hope that's a wake-up call for many people, but it probably won't be.
Now, that guy is masquerading as a communist. He's not a communist. He's not a socialist. He's not an anythingist. He's a cuckoo. I got to kill you because you don't believe in my religion. That's what he is. Him and his friends and his supporters and his money and all that. And it's a perfect example of somebody who's full of crap.
You know what amazes me? It really, really amazes me that they would vote that guy in, knowing his views, his religion, 24 years after, you know, what happened at the Twin Towers. We'll never forget. Well, it seems like y'all have forgotten.
There's a lot of young people that are stupid, but there's a lot more. There aren't, if you look at the demographics of New York City, you know, there's a whole bunch of foreign-born people there. And this guy is being backed by big money, like, not big, huge money. Huge money. And all the things that he says he's going to do, he's not going to be able to do. It's all smokescreen. He's like another Fidel Castro. As a matter of fact, some of his speeches are almost a carbon copy of Castro.
Couple of things real quick. Well, he was on the city council or whatever, right, beforehand. So the things that he's spewing that he wants to do, why didn't he do them when he was on city council? Which he could actually do on city council, but you can't do as mayor. But he wants to do it as mayor, which you can't do as the mayor. So that's the first question. The second question is, just in round figures, a guesstimate, many Jews do you think, percentage-wise, I guess, not an actual number, but percentage-wise, just a guesstimate, how many Jews do you think live in the city of New York?
Do you have the answer?
No, I do not. I'm just asking you because you're probably more familiar with New York than me, and I'm going to just guess. I'm going to guess it's probably 10 or 15%.
Well, yeah, here's the thing with Jews, you've got a ethnicity and you have a religion, and there's two different things. So you have your practicing, you have your Orthodox, all the way to somebody who's Jewish, but they, don't get involved with it. But yeah, I see where you're going with this. And the reason he didn't do anything as a councilman was he was absent. He had the lowest attendance record of any councilman while he was a councilman. He wasn't there most of the time, didn't vote.
Yeah, so, okay, well, as a constituent, looking at this guy running for mayor, well, see, people are stupid, though. That's the problem. They don't pay attention. But they obviously don't know what you had just told me. Because if they did, well, you couldn't show up, you couldn't do your job as a councilman, but now I'm going to expect you to do that as mayor? So, yeah, people are stupid. But yeah, I think you're probably right. The influx of foreign-born people and young people in the city there, they don't know history. They haven't been taught history. They're not aware of history, and many other dynamics involved. They just all they hear is the platitudes. Free this and free that, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Although either A, the things that he can do are going to be destructive, and B, the other things that he just can't do.
Well, we'll know by this time tomorrow night. W2VW. Billy!
Hey, Prairie. Where'd you go, Bill?
Just as I walked away to go get a slice of pizza out of the fridge, right, Dave? You're like, Billy. So I'm going to go do that real quick.
You're eating pizza again. Okay, that's good. I had some homemade pizza today. All right, we'll be here.
I had a hamburger and kielbasa on the grill for lunch, and then the wife made pasta and meatballs with garlic bread for dinner.
Yeah, garlic is good this time of year, Turn the heat on, you get a sinus infection. Garlic fixes it.
And I love kielbasa on the grill. Just something about it. I mean, there's a lot of ways to cook it, but nothing beats it on the grill. Burgers, too, for that. Anything almost on the grill. Something about it.
It's that caramelized fat, You burn it, you make it into the different structure, and it's a carcinogen. It's great. And it tastes great, too.
Yeah, maybe a carcinogen, but as long as it tastes good, I don't care.
Can you imagine somebody drifting by, listening to this QSO?
All they got to do is listen to 10 or 15 minutes, and like, these guys just covered 15 different topics.
I don't know what's wrong with these guys. I'm almost afraid to talk to them. That's kind of the way I like it.
Yeah, well, our bark is worse than our bite. We don't bite, but we will cover a range of topics with impunity.
Yeah, and I don't get angry with somebody who doesn't believe what I believe. That's fine. I don't like to actually hear why. But I have run into folks that, man, they hear some of the stuff that we just did, and that's it. They're done. And they'll get online and it'll be like, you don't want to talk to those guys. Or they'll get on, there's one guy on 160 like that, Pete, who I won't mention, but he's one of those. And it's kind of fun to watch him because he's given up. He's not even there anymore, I don't think.
Well, the way I see it, life is for learning. And I have an inquisitive mind. And I genuinely like to know other people's views and why do you believe what you believe or feel the way you feel. Like, you know, whatever the topic is that I'm opposed to or I have a different view of, I just want to understand why you view it the way you view it that's different than the way I view it. I genuinely want to understand that. And some people you can have this discussion with, and others are like, you know, they just lose their freaking mind there. Like, I said what I said, and that's what I said. Like, yeah, but that doesn't help me understand why you said it.
And that's what bugs me about the Confederate Party right now. Oh, did I say Confederate? Their Confederate Party. That's what bugs me about them. They won't even interface with anyone who is not completely in lockstep. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to... Nothing. It's all, you're done. Your life is meaningless. I hope you die. That's it. And they're done. That's how they are. And that is a real sickness.
You're absolutely right, and that's how they are. If you're not in lockstep in full agreement with them, although for many years that has been their strength, because they're all, you know, they're like the Borg spacecraft, they're the collective. They all think as one, and they're very strong that way. Where our you know, our party, there's many different views, and we'll squabble amongst ourselves. There's varying degrees of, for lack of a better term, varying degrees of conservatism and what they, you know, feel that is. And we're not always unified and in lockstep. We'll have disagreements and different views amongst ourselves, and we'll hash it out. Where their side is, they are, if you're not completely and utterly in our lockstep, you're ostracized. You know, they got no room for any kind of discussion or dissent. They don't want to debate. It's our way, and your way needs to be destroyed. You know, we're like, well, maybe we can work something out. Help me understand your view, and maybe we can work something out. No. Well, like, oh, that's no way to live.
Yeah. Well, you know, the other thing, Pete, is there's a lot of people that eschew all the stuff you're talking about who are really frauds. Like some of the people on Fox News.
Man, how about them Dodgers, though?
Yeah, well, they smushed the Canadian pitcher.
I just figured until we got too deep in the mire that, you know, I just run a curveball because, you know, we're just preaching to the choir. I genuinely try to understand opposing views, but they have trouble with discourse. And, like, at this point, I kind of almost give up. Well, I don't give up completely, but I certainly don't try like I used to. Like, well, you want to be an idiot and a jerk, well, that's your choice. Trying to understand and, you know, have civil discourse, but you don't know how. You're a racist, bigot, neo-homophobic, you know, fascist, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't remember in this discussion calling you names anywhere.
Yeah, that's a typical complaint. How about we shift gears? Remember, Pete, when by the time Ronald Reagan's was done and George Bush got elected, how did you feel about things then?
Well, see, I joined the military under Ronald Reagan, and Ronald Reagan was very good for my life at the time. And I was still in the military when the first Bush came around. And he was a big letdown. He was like, you're a World War II aviation Navy vet. I got a tickle here. Excuse me. So he was kind of a letdown. I thought he was going to be another, like, Ronald Reagan bitch. Like, he was Ronald Reagan light. Sort of a disappointment, but okay, the alternative probably worked. So, all right. And then Bush Jr., he was really a wet rag. Huh.
Yeah, interesting you should say that. Thank you for being candid. So here's the way I think. Of course, you know I'm a sick man. But anyway, so Ronald Reagan came in and, for better or for worse, fixed a bunch of things that were screwed up and cut a lot of government spending, and cut a lot of government people, and straightened a few things out, kicked the air traffic controllers in the ass. I don't know how I feel about that because I don't know enough about it, but he did that as, you know, anyway. So here we have, after Reagan gets out and Bush 1 gets it, 4 years later, Bush loses to Clinton because he didn't think Clinton was a threat to his campaign, and he didn't even bother. And now Clinton gets in, and then Clinton decides to make the Oval Office into the Oral Office with the blue dress. And Clinton, in his second term, was owned by the frickin' Republicans, who probably had a come to Jesus meeting with him saying, you know, we can kick you the hell out, or you're going to do what we want. And they came out with the workfare stuff, and he did some things that weren't completely cuckoo, while Hitlery was trying to come up with universal health care way back then. That was her, I'm going to do this, way back when, and that was, so... Here's what this is long, there's a lot of narrative, and it's late, but the current state we're in, W2VW, and this will be on YouTube, the stupid crap that's going on now, the effects of this are going to be 20 years from now, the fallout from this. Like Trump, in my opinion, is going to fix a lot of things that are ill. He's going to make some mistakes, but anyway. So I'm really worried about what the hell's going to happen when Trump is done.
Yeah, I concur pretty much with everything you just said. I don't see a whole lot different, although maybe slightly different, because I was over there in the Middle East when Bush 1 lost and Clinton came in, and I was at basically a 10-year mark in my military career. And then once he got into office, I had what? That was January of 93, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was January 93. Yeah, Clinton, so it was 92, 93. Yeah, 93, January, yeah. So I had basically 6 or 7 months left. And he started slashing, now this is Clinton's first term, of course. He started slashing military budget, decommissioning steamships. Like, steamships is my lifeline. So I'm watching all these steamships go away, and I'm a first class at this point, which is E6, and then to make E7 is like a big jump. You know, that's when you're locked in. That's actually a congressional appointment to make chief in the Navy. And with steamships going away, and a couple years prior, I made E6 first class by the skin of my teeth because things were starting to tighten up already. And I saw things getting even tighter with ships going away and less billets available, so like, what are my chances of making chief? Well, they have this thing at the time called high tenure. And if you reach high tenure, which is X number of years at X rank, you know, if you hit that wall, you got booted out. So if I didn't make chief by, I think it was 14 or 15 years, which was only, you know, 4 years in my future, which would have been about, I probably should have made it in 13, 12 to 13. But with steamships going away and billets going away, I saw my chances of making chief like near impossible. So I saw him, he ruined my Navy career, in my opinion. I blame Bill Clinton for me not doing 20 years active duty in the Navy, and I blame him for it. Anyway, not to dwell on that too deeply, because I could go on for that for a while, but anyway, that's the synopsis. His second term, now I'm out in Civlant, and I'm making good money. It's a union job at the power plant. And you're right, he did get kind of under control, and Newt Gingrich and all had that contract with America going on, and we had the majority in the Senate and the House, and he had the White House. He had to play ball. And I'll give him credit. He played ball. Of course, the whole blue dress Oval Office thing was, to me, was really a distraction. Like, all these guys do that stuff. Like, if not all of them, quite a few. I can kind of look the other way. All right, it's nonsense, but I feel like so much time and energy was wasted on that. I really do. I really didn't care, per se. It shouldn't have came to light, but since it came to light, well, all right, so we're going to make hay with it, and I get that, and I was sort of cheerleading it a little bit. Stupid dick got caught. So, like, the thing is, just don't get caught. Anyway, he had to play ball, so I feel like his second term was a lot better for the Republic here. But he kind of had to play ball. But today's Democrat Party would see him, as if not a centrist, at least a moderate.
1111.
Wouldn't even fit the Democrat Party today, and I thought he was kind of left at the time. And every time they bring up universal health care, I want to vomit. 83 are you?
Well done, Pete. Well done. Yeah, January of 93. And then I think the contract for America was what? Midterm? 96. Yeah, you got it. And I see how you were thinking about your future and all that back then. Excellent, Pete. Good job. Billy?
Guess was talking to, remember 503?
Yeah.
He's in the chat. He got 30 spare 813s and some lean yar with the pair of 813s that has a separate deck for each band. Man, yeah, he needs the modulating impedance. You just do Ohm's law, get some kind of current meter that's safe, and then, the voltage, you could figure that out.
Yeah, there's an old QST article called the NA Plus Ultra, which is 813s, a pair of 813s horizontally mounted for every band, just like single band or 813 amps, probably patterned after that. But Pete's kicking ass tonight.
Go Pete. Go Pete. W2BTK.
You're 4 minutes early, maybe. 83 RE.
Yeah, W2VW. That's what it says on my name tag. It also says Haynes. Haynes.
Oh, mine are Fruit of the Loom.
Does that mean we got to go to channel 16?
Why do you got to go to channel 16 for Fruit of the Loom?
You're talking about what kind of underwear you're wearing.
Oh, yeah, good buddy, Blood's good. Oh, man. Good one. Drop one up for Dave.
I don't ever forget. I used to have total recall, but too many shots to the head.
Yeah, I wish I did, because, if I could remember everything that I've ever read or learned, I'd be daggone dangerous. But I don't remember everything I read or learned. But I can give you the Reader's Digest of most of it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to tell you equalizer settings over and over. Yeah.
Well, I'll be taking pictures to try to help out my memory.
You gotta use your ear, man.
Good setting, was that the bad setting? And what radio was that for now?
Yeah. What was that, Billy?
There's no equalizer settings that someone can, you gotta use your ear, dude.
Yeah, but what if you're deep? Imagine being, like, deaf. Or you can't, or whatever it is that's wrong with some of these people I've been running into, Billy.
Yeah, like they can only, their audiogram shows they can only hear from 400 to 2,000 kilohertz.
It's not that. It's not only that. That may be, but it's something else.
I don't know. I gotta go get my ears cleaned out. I can tell.
Well, you gotta put some fizzy stuff in there, man. Just go to CVS. You pour that in there like it's Socrates, like they poured the hemlock in his ear while he was sleeping so they could kill him. Only this just cleans your ears out.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I did hydrogen peroxide a couple times, and it's still like I think it's still off. Like there's still a lot in there. Like I want to actually maybe go to an ENT and see what's up, because I can tell that it's still a little off when I really pay attention. Or just like I have a pair of speakers, like no ports or anything, and like you just can hear the direct sound off the left and right, and I could tell like it's screwed up. Like I can't hear them both the same.
All the climbing around you're doing, you need that.
The hydrogen peroxide is all right for a normal cleaning, but if you got deep cleaning it needs, you need that wax eater drop. I forget what it's called, but those wax eater drops, man, they do the job better than hydrogen peroxide.
You can't get this crap on regular ham radio. This is advanced. What do we call this? Turbo? No. Advanced ham radio.
High-level ham radio.
Advanced modulation.
That's it. Advanced modulation.
That's pretty apropos there. Yeah, that's a good one, Billy. Advanced modulation.
You never heard that before, Pete?
I don't think so. I've heard of ancient modulation. That's what the detractors call it.
Yeah, there's a guy in two arguments that's dying to be recognized as somebody who knows stuff, who's always putting down AM, and I'm like thinking to myself, gee, nobody's ever done that before. Where did you come from? The guy just like showed up about 2 years ago. And I actually feel bad for him, because I feel bad for him.
But what doesn't he like about it?
Well, it takes up the upper and the lower sideband carry the exact same information, and the crowded bands, it stops. The whole world grinds to a halt because somebody's using twice the bandwidth. Oh, noes.
Oh, it's so crowded here right now in 10 meters.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really had a problem with that, except sometimes on 75. But it's kind of a... Well, I'll just stop talking.
You know, there's enough room here right now that we could go to full 100 kilohertz FM stereo modulation and wouldn't bother anybody.
What makes you think I'm not close to that now?
Oh, I don't know what's my receiver bandwidth. I wouldn't know. Well, you could be.
Now, if you tune up about 12 kilohertz, you'll still hear my S's and T's. I guarantee you that. And the only reason I'm doing that is when the Wicked Over the Horizon radar comes on, because it makes it go away.
Well, you either stop transmitting or yeah, I think you stopped transmitting. I heard a little at 8 kilohertz up.
All right, try this.
Oh, that was a much better test. I can hear. I kind of lost it. Just about 14 kilohertz.
Yeah, that's Morse code.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, it 29 was 0137, 0138. That's about the end of it, and I lost it.
I should just, well, no, I shouldn't, but it would be funny for the radar if I just ripped some BB King.
Hey, do you have any Procol Harum in your collection?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Yeah, man. I've been getting into a couple of songs of theirs. It's basically, Bach structure. And, yeah, I don't know. Like, every 6 months I find a new old tune that it's not something that's been played to death. And just kind of really enjoy hearing it over and over.
I've been listening to Steely Dan Asia. I haven't listened to it like a ton of times, so late. I don't know, until lately, I just listened to it a lot. I don't know, it's kind of crazy the way those guys worked, and like there's a whole documentary about it.
Called Steely Dan at the Tower Theater. Yeah, I like Steely Dan, and that Asia album is really good.
They should have made an album called How to Piss Off Everyone in the Music Business. That would have been a good name.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like Asia also. Very, very, very advanced recording technique, all that, And yeah, some of those documentaries on them, where they go through who they auditioned and why they used it and which bar belongs to which player and all that. Like Pete was saying, I don't know if you've seen that stuff, Billy. It's kind of fun, because these guys are like years after, mountains of cocaine after, and hot chick trying to remember.
They were saying like you had to wait until the album came out and then like check the credits to see if you made the album.
I got a song for you real quick.
I didn't hear that. That's good.
You remember Reunion, Life is a Rock, but the radio rolled me? Do you remember that song? I'll give you a little piece of it, just so. Do you remember that song?
I just had a birdie sweep by here, so I heard nothing.
When I was in grade school, when that song came out, everybody tried to be able to learn the words to that song. Oh my God! Life is a rock, but the radio rolled me, and they go through all these different band names. They just like to sing these different band names at a time. No, not doing anything for you.
I'm waiting for this birdie to go away.
And then the radio will roll me.
That's nasty. I don't know what the hell that is, but I'd like to kill it.
But it just rolled right in.
Yeah, it's really, really bad.
Do we need to go up in frequency or down in frequency or something?
No, it'll go away. I'm just waiting it out.
Maybe somebody plugged in their cell phone mini computer with like the rapid charge, like 120 watt charge, those things.
I'm looking at an intersection That's less than a mile from here with this antenna at this azimuth. And we went by there this morning on the way out to the airport, and I'm thinking to myself, and I said out loud, there's going to be a light here someday, and when they put it in, it's going to cause problems for me, and when it does, I'm going to do something about it.
Back 15, 20 years ago, I was still doing mobile operations, and they started upgrading all the traffic lights around here with LEDs, and I assume switching power supplies and what. I could tell. They just made the noise level at every stoplight so freaking terrible. They're like, that's it. I'm done with mobile operation. I can't deal with all this noise driving around.
Yep, I understand that. I try to listen to, 50,000 watt AM stations that are 100 miles away, and I can't hear them most of the time. Yeah, well, all that disturbance that those things are creating, made with Chinese components that can be reprogrammed remotely and aren't safe and are they're a hazard to the security of America. Not only that, but polluting the atmosphere with invisible electronic pulses that are they emit more pulses than are allowed by our standard for safety. All these things must be considered, and they need to go.
Yeah, now if you're pouring oil in the creek, it calls Karens to lose their mind. But if you're polluting the ionosphere or whatever with electrons, radio frequency electrons, that they can't see them, so they don't care. But I mean, it's still, I'm sure these things need to be FCC Part 15 compliant, and they're not. So how is that even happening?
They use FAW certification standards. I remember I bought on eBay about 20 years ago a little FM band transmitter that was supposed to be completely compliant with part whatever it was and blah blah blah, and it had the FCC number. Well, the whole thing was fake. This damn thing worked so well I could walk around my neighborhood and listen to it on a portable FM radio where I had my ham radio stuff patched in. It worked really well. Well, it turns out it was probably putting out about 1.5 watts. And it was fake. It was BS. But it blew up.
It is pretty amazing what low wattage at a decent location, how far it will cover. I told you about the days that I was rebroadcasting WREV on 1705. That's just 5 watts in my CBS antenna, basically. And I could drive around for miles around my house and still hear it. I was amazed.
If you had a vertical, you could have driven around for 50 miles with the same power.
5 watts, 50 miles? Yeah, just in the evening, not during the daytime, I don't think.
Daytime. W2 very weak.
AA3RE. Well, I'm not going to argue with that because you're probably right.
W2BTK.
So how's the path up there, Billy? Have you noticed any different?
Yeah, you guys are down a little bit, both of you, but still very readable. Just down a little bit from before. It was really good before.
Yeah, noticing the same thing, which is why I asked. I hear you fine, but yeah, you were 10 dB louder.
Yeah, things aren't as strong as they once were, nor are they as fluttery, but all 100% copy from both amateur radio stations.
Can't have amateur without AM.
Well, you should be able to compare signal strength pretty well with, like, I've had this little cheesy SNR thing here, which isn't exactly accurate, and it's got really slow decay like, for some reason, and I don't really know how to change that, but you can compare the signals with it at least.
Yeah, that's great. You probably got the absolute best quality control thing going as far as recording somebody. You know, where you can just go on YouTube and you can hear unadulterated, no compression algorithm, nothing. Well, maybe a little from YouTube, but nothing of consequence compared to us sending back iPhone recordings, which are...
Yeah, I'd like to see how this Yazoo sounds with outboard audio and these EQ settings. Because I think I heard the DIY and maybe other radios, but I don't think I heard this Yazoo yet.
Yeah, the only thing really messing with it is whatever AGC I'm using on the receive and YouTube, which YouTube does a lot, but for this, I don't think it's gonna be very much. Just this SNR window, it just, when I'm receiving myself, my own receiver, you know, which gets switched into an attenuator when I'm transmitting, as you know, the slow decay of that kind of messes with, you know, the reading. Unless somebody keys up and talks for a few seconds, then it kind of settles down. But if it's quick keys and stuff after that, it's a little hard to get it back. You know, it's just a relative thing, you know.
Yeah. God. Well, how many people are doing this kind of long haul stuff like this? Nobody.
Regular basis on 10 meters? Yeah, pretty much nobody.
Should be on Slot Bucket because it's so much better.
I don't have any Slot Bucket rigs available. There's just really one mode.
Well, you know, when I moved out here and all that, I was like, well, I'm going to look around on Slot Bucket and see if I can find Intelligent Life, because AM, it used to be, if somebody sounded great and they had a good signal, that they were technically competent. But now, you can buy stuff and hook it up, and you can have that kind of signal, and you don't know anything about anything. So, how to read directions and spend lots of money. So that's gone. So I figured, well, let me get on Slot Bucket. You know, I've been ignoring it for all these years because of all the idiots I've run into on Slot Bucket. And I gave that a try for a while. But,
Well, I guess it was fun when I was running the QAM and the, well, you know, just the IQ setup, because I could do any mode and I could do the, you know, sideband out to however wide I wanted, really. You could do basically this kind of audio quality on SSB. Not that most people don't have a receiver that can really take advantage of it, but that was kind of fun. I don't know. Just the audio delay thing is the only bummer, but it can probably be figured out. It would probably be good to get that stuff fired up again just to make sure that, you know, it's all good to go. I haven't touched anything. The computer, I just have to take offline and I have to change the IP address, which, you know, it is a little funny, but that's it.
that would be fun, Billy, because if you're going to do that, I might decide that I could put a little bit of effort in the Slot Bucket. Not too much. W2VW.
Yeah. I'm calling for a quickie. I'll be back.
W2BTK. Yeah, I don't know. I got to get my extra and then could do a Slot Bucket anywhere, you know? Well, it could be fun. If we're just like hanging out and stuff, I prefer to use AM, you know. I have to have a kind of a reason to do slop bucket. But I'm just saying it would be good to dust off that QAM setup at least and just make sure we're good to go.
Yeah, that would be worthwhile because you could do any mode. And you need to get your extra, man. We could get on the bottom of 80 meters and do the same thing we're doing here. You know, that'd be a lot of fun. You might attract intelligent life. That'd be kind of fun, Billy.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on that extra exam that I'm just like, what? Like, you know, I'd have to memorize a bunch of stuff. Let's go take it. Kind of like what I did for the general. I just studied the question and answer book for a few weeks, and once I was like, I'd read through it a couple times, I just went and took it, was good to go.
Oh man, I remember when I took my genital class license, I memorized the entire question pool. I think it was only 200 questions then. I memorized the entire thing. And what the heck did I do for the 13 words a minute? I don't remember much about that, but it wasn't that hard. I had to have 5 words a minute to get my novice, and that was in the 70s. So that was good. I had a novice, and it lapsed. So I had to get another novice again and start over again. And then what I did was I got on 80-meter CW every day for 2 hours a day before going to work. Get myself up to code speed, and 13 words a minute was no big deal. The test was easy because it was stuff. It was like a QSO, you know. My name is Roy. Well, you got R and you got Y, but you missed the O. Okay, R, Roy. So, okay, you know, QTH, Lancaster. Okay, you know, it was pretty easy. So when I went to take the general, I also memorized the whole entire question pool for the advanced. And I really studied. I wanted to go from novice to advanced in one day. But I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning to go up to this Hamfest that was like 100 miles away. I remember I had my 77 Coupe de Ville. And I had gone to get an eye exam like the day before. They dilated my pupils. But I still had like a frickin' migraine headache from driving back from that with my fingers in front of my eyes. I had my grandmother with me, who was born in 1903. Anyway, I was hurting by the time I even got to this Hamfest. So I passed the general thing. I handed in the written test to the guy up front, and the guy looks at me and goes, "Don't give up. Go sit down and try to answer the questions." I'm like, "No, I'm done. Please grade it." You know, it was that easy. So I got my general, and the advanced, you know, I had to wait like an hour to do that. I'm like, nope, I'm going home while I could still see. My head hurts. That's enough. I didn't even hang out at the Hamfest. Nothing. And I didn't go back to take another test till 20 years later when I got my extra light, where it was 5 words a minute by then, you know, which I already had the 13, so I didn't have to do that. So I could have had an advanced license, Billy, and then I could say, oh, I used to know stuff. Because if you have an advanced now, it means that you used to know stuff.
Well, yeah, I would just be a no-code extra. Oh, there's a no-code now. You got to give me ideas to make a new video, like a sequel to that.
Oh man, I could do that. Remind me if I don't do that, you need to remind me. I'll be like, FT8 digital is the end of the world.
Yeah, we could do an FT8 one. We could do one where the guy that doesn't like AM and SSB is superior, but
yeah, I'm not even going to bother with the SSB is superior stuff anymore. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. You find somebody, you hang out, you got something to talk about. I don't care anymore. You know, I just don't. SSB doesn't sound as bad as it used to. It's come a long way. And there are guys on AM that are using frickin' phase rotators. They're ruining the last thing that AM has above SSB, which is asymmetric modulation. They're purposely cutting that out. So it's all over, Billy.
Oh, I have one of those in here. Actually, what does it do to this thing? Hello, check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Yeah, I don't get as much. That's nasty. Yeah, that's like a kill your modulation button. They don't even call it a phase rotator on this. They call it a decorrelator.
Yeah, it's an all-pass filter. Yeah, I saw that. You went from having some swing to having no swing, and it sounded a little bit different. I think it's what you sound like. I mean, I've never heard this happen to anybody, but I know on the farm, when they want the hogs to grow, you know, they nut them. I think it does the same thing.
Yeah, it's the remove your testicles button.
I told Clark that one time.
Poor Clark. Those are some good times, though. Remember, get the chat all fired up. Everyone is chanting like, Clark, Clark, Clark.
Yeah, Clark should be okay. And if he's concentrating on behaving himself, he's great.
Yeah, I've had some good times with Clark.
Yep. And then he falls in with those other guys, you know, they get to him. And it's all over.
Yeah. But it's fun to basically, like, there's no one around here right now. Usually we go on 160, there's nobody around down there. It's like walking out into the woods and having a campfire instead of, like, you know, meeting everybody at a club or a restaurant or something.
Yeah, it's a neighborhood. You know, you're going to go into an unknown neighborhood, and it depends on what you're going to bring for protection.
Yeah. Out in the woods, I don't know. It's nice. I've gotten used to it, and, you know, it's nice. Low key. That's what I need anyway.
Yeah. Your life, I mean, you're working and you're, you know, trying to be self-sufficient, taking care of everything A to Z and working, yeah. You got a lot going on there to keep it together. So you don't need to deal with any unnecessary friction.
Exactly.
Hopping?
You can't go through this house without disturbing a dog.
I'm almost on frequency. I think that's what I would do. As long as next time I get on the radio here, we're on the same frequency, I could start out way off frequency, but high, and then drift down exactly on frequency. Because I did touch it, and I moved it about that much before I decided to let it drift down. And it seems to have settled here.
60 hertz low and moving. And it's perfect. Don't change anything. W2 very weak. I shall return.
My fifth cylinder on the AZ says you're right on frequency.
Well, yeah, I guess this is more fun. W2BTK.
It got windy out. I went outside to burn tobacco products and let the dogs out for a break. And it got windy. An hour or two ago, it was very calm. There's no wind. Now it's all windy.
It's been a windy few days. I'm lucky it hasn't been that windy. Well, I'm at this place I told you about, climbing around on all sorts of crap.
It wasn't too windy during the day today at all, because I was leaf blowing. And you can't leaf blow in the wind. It's just futile. So I was successful in my leaf blowing, so I don't think it was too windy. I was out an hour or two ago, like I said. And it wasn't windy then, but I went out to burn tobacco products now, and it's windy.
Yeah. Well, I haven't gone outside. Try to keep this place sealed up so I don't lose too much heat. Trying to run a little bit. You know, I don't want to kick on like the full heat, and it's been working. You know, I just don't open the doors and crap this time of night. That's one of the rules.
Yeah, don't worry about it so much. I am burning propane right now, but probably in another week or two I'll fire up the wood stove, and that'll be a daily chore until Easter.
Yeah, I burn the oil here, but I have this one. It's a decent, it'd be like an electric baseboard, basically, like one little section, but I can control it, like kicks on and off, and I have it like very low, so it doesn't run too much. I won't need it much after running the Big Blue, but I just have that like kicking on and off every once in a while for the past, a little while, and that's been enough. During the day, the sun comes in and everything, and I'm just kind of trying to push off turning on the whole heating system, cranking it up a little bit for as long as I can. It's like a fun game,
Yeah, well, we keep our heat kind of low. I think it's at 67 or 66 right now. Until it gets real actual cold, then I'll just burn wood. This house is pretty cool. It was originally built with the electric baseboards. They're all over. And each room has its own thermostat to control the baseboard electric in every room. So we look at that now as like backup heat. It doesn't get used really. And then we have forced hot air propane furnace with ductwork all over, and that's our main heat, as it were. But then there's the wood stove, and the wood stove is sized large enough to keep that thing burning, and it'll heat the whole house. And we'll keep the thermostat set probably like 65, 66. So if you don't get to the wood stove, or whatever, and it drops down so it won't get too cold, hot air will kick on. But I'm burning the wood stove up forced hot air so it doesn't come on unless, it's neglected on the wood stove. But the wood stove does a really good job as long as you keep it.
Yeah, it got basically that minus the wood stove and oil instead of propane, but I've got a couple fireplaces in here, but I don't really use them much. In fact, I've never used them. I have to clean the chimney and crap before I attempt that. But there's one right behind me, actually, that might be nice. And then there's one out back. But yeah, like I said, I don't use them too much.
Most fireplaces don't really give you heat. They just give you ambiance. Unless you have a fireplace insert or a fireplace like our fireplace is here, original to the house. It's a heatilator. So the firebox is a heat exchanger, and it's got two suction ducts down low on the floor and two exit ducts high up on the wall, and it'll draw air in and circulate around the heat exchanger of the firebox and blow hot air out. But most fireplaces will just suck the heat right out of the room. They'll give you some radiant heat, but they really just suck the heat right out of the room and throw it out the chimney. This one is designed a little bit different.
You know, the one behind me is a fancy one with the vents and the firebox, as you say, and it'll blow. It's got some kind of fan or whatever in there. But again, I haven't really used it. It's really old, from the 60s, all that stuff. And, you know, have to be cleaned and checked out. You know, it's a lot. The one out back is just a straight up fireplace.
Yeah, well, that one sounds like similar to what I got, and it does a really good job. We don't use it all that often. We mostly just use it for the ambiance thing, not looking at it as heat. But when we have it burning, I'll turn the fans on and might as well get the heat out of it too. But we mostly just use that for ambiance, so this doesn't get used a whole lot. But the wood stove, yeah, well, once I light that up for the season, it stays lit unless there's an oddball, really warm day or something. And I'm like, don't feel like burning wood today, don't need it. But it pretty much stays on usually around from Thanksgiving to Easter, pretty much. A3RE.
And W2BTK. Yeah, I don't know. I get by. I leave it a little chillier, you know, it's like 65 in here normally. Then if it dips a little bit, I'll crank up that electric heater and it catches up until, you know, I got to do the whole house. It gets, you know, actually really cold outside during the day too and stuff. Then the oil heat the whole house system comes on, and, you know, it's not too bad. It's efficient. It's just oil's expensive.
Cheaper than propane. Propane is way expensive. Like, makes me cringe every time I got to fill them tanks. So I try to avoid filling the tanks. You know, that's what the wood stove is for. And I don't mind doing the work because, you know, as long as I take down, usually take down 3 trees a year around here, whether they're standing dead or ones that, like, that one, like, we'll take that one down. And then I process them myself. And that provides my heat. So I guess I'm buying the wood because I got anymore. I don't usually take trees down myself anymore. I used to. As long as there was no danger of them hitting anything, I would take them down myself. But anymore, I just don't. I'm like, I'll hire the crew. Let the professionals do it. And then they just leave me the trunks in like 8-foot lengths in my side of my driveway there, and I chop them all up to the right length for the log splitter, split them all up, stack them myself. So it's not entirely free, but it still winds up being cheaper than buying propane.
I will be back in a bit. Got to take a phone call. W2 very weak. There's also somebody else tuning up here.
Oh no!
Okay. I'm starting to get a little sleepy.
Yeah, you know, I was just thinking that. I'm looking at the clock. It's 8:30, but my body still thinks it's 9:30.
Yup.
there somebody tuning up wants to join this nonsense? A3RE, hello? I guess not. Still got your date going?
Yeah, it's still going. You can check that out, now if you want. There's a little bit of a delay on it, but it'll be up there forever.
Yeah, I'll check it out later when I can put it on some good speakers. But since Dave's not here and you still have that going, I want to try a little something. So I know where I'm at here. This is 1, and this is 2. Channel 2 EQ, testing for audio quality. Audio quality on channel 2 as compared to my channel 1 audio quality. I'll go back to channel 1 audio quality because I know it's already cast muster, but I wanted to see what the settings on channel 2 sounded like. Check. And back to 1, just for a quick AB. Back to 1. AA3RE. Done testing the audio segment of the W2BTK audio stream.
Yeah, you're not booming in here. You might not be able to hear too much difference, but it's probably not the right time for testing. But it's there. And I'm starting to yawn, man. I might jet out of here pretty soon.
Well, I pretty much have it in my mind. I got one more glass full of whiskey, and then I'm done. Once this glass of whiskey's done, I'm done. Because by then it'll probably be 9 o'clock, and my body will think it's still 10 o'clock, and I was doing a lot of physical type activity today, leaf blowing. And leaf blowing, you wouldn't think, that's no big deal. Well, when you're in the middle of a woods with 3 acres and you want to clear the house out and make the wife happy, the leaf blowing is quite the chore.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a physically demanding day. Just pulling wire and running around and climbing around, and it was all right though. But I think I'm gonna go fart around and watch something for a half an hour. If I can, I'll probably fall asleep. But anyway, yeah, I'll shut down the stream in a couple minutes. Or if nobody's out there talking, I'll just end it. But I'm sleepy, man. I'm gonna jet out of here, so I'll say 7-3. And it's been fun. I know Dave is on the phone, but I'll catch you later, Dave. And do it again soon. I'm W2BTK.
Also a shame that you're not closer to this area, because long story short, we're going to be needing an electrician where I'm at here pretty soon. It's a pretty good gig. I don't know if you'd be really interested or not, either of you work close, but I'm pretty sure you're a competent electrician just by talking to you and seeing the things that you do and being an amateur op and all that stuff. Stands to reason. It's a shame you're not close, because I said, hey, come apply for the electrician job. We need an electrician, but anyway, just throwing that out there for no real reason, I guess. Good night then, Billy. Good to hear you on. Good chatting with you there for the evening. W2BTK from AA3RE.
Yeah, man. Well, to look into it, but I think, yeah, it's probably pretty far, but I appreciate that, not ruling it out. So 7-3, man, thanks. I'll catch you later.
Well, if you're interested, next time we talk, we'll talk about it, and I'll give you more information. Good night. And hello, Jim. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere, not for a little bit anyway. N3UGY, 883, good evening. Yeah, I'm on my beam, because being the monkey in the middle, point my beam at Billy, that's good enough for him, and then Dave has such gain on his antenna that there's no problem working him to the back of the antenna, so, I got to do what I can do on being the monkey in the middle, and I was running, quite a bit of smoke, which I probably don't need to run anymore. I'm running like 225 watts of carrier with the beam pointed north-northeast. But I hear you fine. You're coming in, I guess, pretty much in the side of the antenna, and I hear you just fine.